Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. We're going to take a moment today to talk about Omid Scobie and his role in the Harkle dramas. So here's some fun facts about Scrappy-Doo. Scobie's rise from obscurity to favorite journalist of the Sussexes and outspoken campaigner for the media to respect privacy has been rapid. The eldest of two brothers, Scobie grew up in Oxford. His Scottish father, Bill, runs a marketing agency and is an inspiring blues musician on the side. His mother, Mary M., is an Iranian social worker. So, according to the Sunday Times, it says, as a child, Scobie's ambition was to become a journalist. Having started video game blogs in his teens, he took a journalism degree at the University of the Arts, London, and aspired to become an entertainment reporter. His first job was at Heat magazine, where he started partying with celebrities such as model Jody Marsh, but later claimed he left his post after an executive called him a not-so-nice name in his emails. A year of freelancing followed, then Scobie worked on a magazine launch before he started writing for the American magazine Us Weekly. After about another year, he took a full-time job as its London correspondent and opened a European office. Now, this next part is quite interesting. It was around the time that the Prince and Princess of Wales got engaged in late 2010 that Scobie's focus, which until then had been mostly on celebrity culture, turned to the royal beat. He was soon taking part in royal tours overseas, including William and Kate's tour to Canada and the US the following year. So the Sussex's mouthpiece actually had been creeping, and while he was at Us Weekly, he was sometimes co-opted along with Simon Perry of, you guessed it, People magazine as a member of the Royal Rota. So technically, he wasn't officially labeled part of the Royal Rota. He just forced himself in, kind of like Meghan Markle. So Scobie has been lobbying Buckingham Palace to become officially part of the Royal Rota, but he, in actuality, is not. It says here that he first met Meghan in 2015 at Toronto Fashion Week, though has since said that the significance of the encounter did not dawn on him until she started dating Harry. He later claimed in Finding Freedom, co-written with the American author Carolyn Duran, that he gave Meghan a big farewell hug beneath the malachite candelabras of the 1844 room in Buckingham Palace after the Sussexes' final engagement as working royals. Scobie went freelance in 2017 after Us Weekly was taken over and now contributes to Harper's Bazaar, Yahoo News, and the American Broadcast Company. So, given Scobie's background and his recent trip out to California while Prince Harry was giving his witness statement here in the UK, I think it's safe to say and assume that he was with the Duchess of Sussex in scheming whatever next branding exercise that Meghan is going through right now with WME. And knowing that Omid Scobie had been connected to Us Weekly and Heat magazine, it should be no surprise that when we see certain articles that come up in these magazines that potentially could be him who is the one helping with these stories to get this narrative or false narrative crafted. So this week's Heat magazine issue has Meghan on the cover with a story that would never fly in the United States. But of course, in the UK, there isn't that type of visibility to verify whether or not it's actually true. Let me read some of this article and you tell me if you think that Omid and Meghan are behind putting out this garbage in order to convince the audience that they're really changing. And the title or the headline says, Harry's got to follow the Duchess's rules. He's opened up about everything from brotherly punch-ups to his damaged todger. But now, Prince Harry has promised to stop. Last week, the regal rebel reportedly told insiders he's done with royal bashing in interviews, documentaries, and memoirs, which will come as a relief to his family. But not everyone's as pleased with the decision, with sources telling Heat that Meghan has only agreed to do things his way if he promises to follow her rules. The Sussexes have agreed to pull back on all publicity around the monarchy for now, says an insider close to the couple, who went all out on Harry's royal relatives for their Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, with the 38-year-old Duke lashing out again in his memoir Spare. They've said enough at this point, and there's no need to settle any more scores or wallow in negativity. Harry wants to cease fire with his family, and Meghan's agreed. And here's what she is agreeing about. She agrees that it's somewhat played out to keep using their grievances to grab headlines. But the 41-year-old actress who married Harry in 2018 has some conditions, and it means committing to a plan to make their billions in other ways. Now, this ties into the last video that I did with Harry showing up at the Warrior Games. The article continues and it says, she has told Harry he must start using his charm to get big money deals, go to the right parties, speak to the right people, and use their royal connections to help them become the ultimate power couple. Meghan has been busy for months now hitting up her Hollywood contacts and working tirelessly to figure out their next steps, says our source. She's told Harry he needs to up his game and start schmoozing the power players. They need to land more lucrative deals and get gigs on the speaking circuit so they can join the billionaire club as quickly as possible. Grifters gotta grift, and I wouldn't be surprised if these two now are going to be aligning themselves more with our government in order to siphon money out of grants and put it into the Fugazi charity Archwell. The end of the article says, but once the trial is over, we're told Harry's planning to finally move on. In many ways, leaving all of his bitterness behind him and finding a new direction in an exciting prospect, says the insider. Both he and Meghan are ready, and he's relieved he won't have to keep dragging up stuff about a very dark time of their lives. Of course, they're both very nervous. For all the criticism and stress the book and the Netflix series brought them, they can't deny they've made an absolute fortune from dishing the dirt on their experiences. It's also put them on the map globally and won them a huge amount of sympathy. And you see, this is where Meghan and Harry's PR team, in pumping out this garbage, are not reading the room or refusing to read the room and recognize that they also bitched in the Oprah interview. People have not forgotten about that yet. We also have the Cut interview where Meghan made an open threat to the family. We shall not forget the stupid podcast archetypes. And why is nobody talking about what she has done to her own family in cutting them off in such a cruel way? The Royal Insider adds, all they can do now is hope to show the world they have more to offer than just being royal bashers. I'm sorry, but this is not going to work for them, because no matter how much money they put into PR to changing their brand to make it look like they're compassionate, empathetic human beings, the fact that they did all this stuff and want the public to just forget about it as if nothing happened is not going to happen. And I think that's the plot that they're missing. I do think that these two are extremely disconnected to reality in what the public actually feels and thinks about them. They have spent so much money in inflating their brand by buying bots and paying people to say nice things and all these sugary puff pieces that I truly believe they don't have an idea or can grasp the fact that there are people that just don't like them and see through them for their lies, like us. This couple has lied so much that they have demonstrated that they cannot be trusted. So no matter what image or brand that WME now is trying to push off onto the public, they have to understand, or maybe they don't understand, how terrible their brand is at this moment and how hard it's going to be to change any of that, especially since neither of these two have openly recognized that what they have done over the last 6 years to their own families was wrong. Their abhorrent behavior and lack of accountability and owning that they were horrendous human beings in itself says do not trust this brand no matter what they do. The reason why these two have failed so miserably is because Meghan Markle's arrogant attitude of it's my way or the highway is really what the downfall of all of this is. She honestly thought that she was going to go into this family and take over being the change that she wanted to see, not what everybody else wanted to see. And that was the biggest problem with this. And stupid Harry went along with this plan, and it has backfired. From the moment that Meghan decided to hit the word post on Instagram, announcing to the world that they were leaving the family and stepping back. It's been one bad decision after another because these two think they know better than everybody else. And sadly, this is not our issue, this is their issue for not succeeding. As much as they want to blame everybody else for their bad behavior, it's nobody's fault but their own for the mess that they're in at this moment.
At the time in January, there was a lot of anger because, as one very senior member of the household said to me, you don't put a gun to the Queen's head. You don't go public and say what you want. We sort it out behind closed doors, we all try and negotiate, and then we present a united front.
As well as their announcement, Meghan and Harry simultaneously launched their Sussex Royal website. It's since been claimed this, and making an announcement without discussing it first, left the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh devastated.
The issue of them creating this Sussex Royal brand and Sussex Royal website was a huge, huge problem for the royal family, because if they were going to go into the corporate world and start marketing themselves for big, big sums of cash, that was going to be the problem, that the Queen and senior royals couldn't have them marketing themselves as royal whilst earning money.
You see, it was Meghan's greedy little clout-chasing attitude, thinking that she was better than everybody else, is why they are in the position that they're in right now. And they can have as many photo shoots as they want, claiming that they're supporting this bandwagon or that bandwagon of the day. But the reality is that their brand has outed themselves as two people who grift and exploit others in order for their gain. And no matter how much rebranding or how many rebrands that Meghan wants to go through, it's not going to change the fact that people remember and will not forget what they had done. You had everything and you blew it. You don't deserve a second chance, or third, or fourth. Right now, I think we're on our 11th. But anyhow, what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Such a fraud.